ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning, everybody.
Satam Namah Shivaya.
So, we had completed the 13th verse of Vakya Vritti, and we are on the 14th verse today. So, let us chant that. Anatma yadi pindoyam
Anatma yadi pindoyam
ukta hetu balanmataha
mukta
Mukta
hetu
hetu
balanmataha
kara amalakavat saksha
karamalakavat sakshat
sakshat
Atmanam Pratipadaya.
Atmanam
atmanam
Pradaya.
pratipadaya.
So this is the student. Okay, Shishya Ovacha. So he is saying that, hey Guruji, you have discussed Atma and Anatma. But it is, it was a very brief discussion. And since Atma is not very easy to understand, please, elaborate for my understanding. So, Ukta Hetu Balat. Ukta, you have given Hetu some reasons. So, Ukta Hetu Balat, because of based on that strength of the reasons which you are given, on the logic which you are given, O Guruji, I am Pindaha Anatma. This body is Anatma, I have understood. Okay. Yadi evam mataha. So, evam have to supply. Yadi mataha. If this is what you teach, that logically the body is Anatma, then okay, I have no problem with accepting that. But, O Guruji, Sakshat Atmanam Pratipadaya. Please clearly tell me what is Atma. Right? Please tell me who am I? That is a question. And tell me clearly, how clearly, Kara Amalakavat. So Kara is the hand. Amalakam is Amla. What is Amla in English?
Gooseberry.
Gooseberry. Gooseberry, the Indian gooseberry, right? So please tell me so clearly, how clearly, as if I am holding a Amla in my hand. And I should be able to see that Amla clearly. Right? So this is the age-old question. Who am I really? And talking about Amla in the hand, there was one very prominent disciple of Shankaracharya. For him, Atma Jnanam was very, very clear. What was his name?
Hastamalaka.
Hastamalaka. Hastamalaka means Hast mein Amala, the gooseberry in the hand. It was as clear to him as a gooseberry in the hand. So this is the age-old question. Who am I really? As Ramana Maharishi used to say to anybody who went to him for Jnanam, he'd say, think about who am I? It's the same question. Now we go to the next verse. This is Guru Ruvacha, verse number 15. Guru Ruvacha
Gururuvacha
Gatadrishta Gatadibhinnaha
घटद्रष्टा घटाद्भिन्नः
Gatadrishta Gatadbhinnaha
घटद्रष्टा घटाद्भिन्नः
Sarvatha na ghato yatha
सर्वथा न घटो यथा
Dehadrishta tatha dehe
देहद्रष्टा तथा देहो
Naham ityavadharaya.
नाहमित्यवधारय.
So the Guruji gives further logic. So and two foundational principles of Vedanta we must always remember. What are they? I am different from whatever I experience. Why? Because I am the experiencer, and therefore whatever I experience has necessarily to be different from me. That is the principle number one, a very basic principle of Vedanta. And not only that, because I am different from whatever I experience, whatever are the gunas, whatever the attributes which belong to the object of my experience, they don't belong to me. Right? So a very simple idea. Whatever is known cannot belong to you. So I am different from whatever I experience, and whatever I know or experience, those attributes cannot be mine. And that is said here, Ghatadrishta, the seer, the perceiver, the experiencer of the Ghata, of the pot. Ghatat bhinnaha is definitely different from the pot. And sarvatha na ghato yatha. He will never be the pot at any place, any time, under any circumstances. A very, very important idea. Sarvatha na ghato yatha. Because you are different from the pot, you can never be the pot. Wherever the place, whatever the time, whatever the circumstances, you are always different from the pot. So whatever is experienced is always different from you, the experiencer. This is called Nisheda Mukha Pramanam. In other words,
डार्क ब्लू चीज देखें बच्चों के स्कूल में पता नहीं यहाँ भी जीने मैंने पढ़ी नहीं है कहाँ पे
okay, somebody's thing was on, I have muted him. This is called Nisheda Mukha Pramanam. Neti Neti Pramanam. Whatever I experience, na iti, I am not that. So, if I take myself as the mind, I am the pramata. And the world is the primeyam, the object of my experience. And the body is prameyam. Right? So whenever I take myself as the pramata, as the mind, the body is an object. The world is also object. Both body and world are prameyams. So prameyams is an English plurality of prameya. Okay. Then, but if I travel inwards, from the pramata I go inwards, and then I take myself as the sakshi, then the mind itself becomes an object of the sakshi. Here, the mind is not called prameya. When the mind is pramata, the world is prameya. But when I am sakshi, what is the mind called? It cannot be called prameya. Sakshyam. Okay. So this you must remember. Two technical words. What do? They are used in Shastram to indicate that the experiencer is different. So whenever you say prameyam, remember the corresponding experiencer is the mind, pramata. Whenever you say sakshyam, which is the mind, the experiencer is the sakshi. That technical difference we must always remember. Do not use sakshyam when the mind is the perceiver. It's always prameyam. But when you are looking at the mind, then you are the sakshi, the mind is sakshyam. Right? Technical words, both meaning object of knowledge, but indicating that the experiencers are different, the knowers are different. Tatha, in the same manner, deho na aham iti avadharaya. So that deho na aham iti avadharaya. Breakup is deho na aham. I am not the body. Iti avadharaya. Please assimilate this completely. Please internalize this completely. Please understand this completely. What? Aham na deha. I am not the body. Right? And then who am I? Deha drishta. I am the perceiver of the body. I am the experiencer of the body. What kind of bodies? In Jagrata Avastha, I am the experiencer of the physical body. In Swapna Avastha, I am the experience of the dream body. And therefore, deho naham iti avadharaya. You must understand that you are not the body. Because as long as you are the body, as long as you take yourself as the body, you will always be threatened by old age and disease. The Shad Vikaras will always be present for the body. Therefore, there will be no peace of mind. Therefore, Deho Naiti Avadharaya means that I will not take myself as the body. Therefore, I will have some peace of mind. How do I get this understanding? Nidhi Dhyasanam, Vedantic meditation is the only way. I have to understand that there is a law of karma. The body has to go through its karma. Nobody can save the body from the law of karma. You cannot control the law of karma. You can do whatever you can to make sure that your body is healthy and has some resistance, like healthy living, healthy eating, exercising, all those things you can do. But nothing will guarantee that you will never be attacked by disease. Nothing will guarantee that you will never get hit by a truck. Your body has prarabdha which you will not know about. And therefore, I have to accept that my old age may be very comfortable, right? Or it may be terrible. But what is the attitude? Whatever it is the prarabdha of the body. And therefore, I am willing to face that whenever it comes. The more I resist the prarabdha, remember, the greater the anxiety and fear. And out of this, the prarabdha is not in my control. But whether I resist the prarabdha or not, that is a question of my free will. Old age is not under my control. My free will cannot, do away with old age. But whether I resist the fact that my body is aging, and what should be my attitude towards my aged body and the process of aging, that is my free will. Therefore, use free will and regularly practice Nidhi Dhyasanam. You can, of course, pray. There is a very beautiful prayer. Dehi me kripaya Shambho. O Shambho, please grant me vina dainyena jivanam. Life without being wretched. And anayasena maranam. And a trouble-free death. Tvai bhaktim achanchalam. And an unwavering devotion to you. Okay, now remember that whether this prayer will work or not, you have no control over. But whether that prayer works or does not work, do I accept that it is the will of Ishvara is the question. If I can accept that I am making out this prayer, I am doing this prayer every day, asking for a comfortable life and a trouble-free death. I am not saying don't give me death. That is something which the Lord cannot give you, right? But yes, you can always say that whenever the death comes, whichever way it comes, it is the will of Ishvara. And therefore, let me accept that. If you can do that, then the prayer is being answered by itself. And one question here, like, why did I say that even Ishvara is omniscient, right? Omniscient person. Why did we say that? Why did I say that even he cannot give you the gift of no death? What are the Shastric stories which indicate that you have, even the Lord cannot give you immortality, but give the body immortality? What are the Shastric stories? Any idea, anybody? Interesting to get the Shastric stories.
Sri Krishna himself. Even as an avatara, he is.
No, Avatara is fine. I am saying, what are the stories where somebody asked for immortality and it was not given as such?
There was such
Brahman.
Asur,
Asur.
Asurs. Mohini danced and showed that put your head, it was not granted. Then there was
Even
many Asurs. Yeah.
Ravana was
No, or Narsimha.
Narasimha
Narasimha,
also.
yes.
Not
So,
Narasimha,
Not
Hiranyaksh,
Narasimha.
not
Yeah,
Narasimha.
Narsimha
Hiranyakashipu,
Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakashipu.
Who was that person who asked for death, who asked for immortality, and then he was told that you will not die in the day or the night, inside or outside?
Hiranyakashipu.
Nakasha, right? So that kind of a particular granting of a boon says that I can't grant you freedom from death, but I can grant you, you know, you can choose how you want to die. So this fellow says, I don't want to die in the day, I don't want to die in the night, I don't want to die inside the house, I don't want to die outside the house, I don't want to die by man, I don't want to die by beast, and so on. And somehow there is a, you know, Narasimha who comes, neither man nor beast, sits on the threshold of the house, neither inside nor outside, at twilight, neither daytime nor nighttime. All these stories indicate what? That it is not in the power of the Lord to grant the body immortality. Okay, so let's carry on. That prayer incidentally is a nice one, right? Dehi me kripaya shambho, vina dainyena jivanam, anayasena maranam. Please do that for me. Give me a comfortable life and please ensure that I am comfortable during death also. So we will go to verse number 16. एवम् इन्द्रियदृग्नाहम्. So that is dring. Also, it is actually the word is drak. But because the na is following it, it comes evam indriya dringnaham. Indriyaniti nishchanu.
इन्द्रियाणि निश्चिनु
Mano buddhistatha pranaha.
मनोबुद्धिस्तथा प्राणः
इत्यवधारय.
नाहमित्यवधारय
So, in the last 3-4 verses, we have seen 3 reasons why the body is not the Atma. What is body? Why I am not the body? One is Sagunatvam, because it has got gunas. One is Bhautikatvam, the second one, which is a product of the Panchabhutas. And one is Drishyatvam, because of being perceptible, because of being the object of perception. For these 3 reasons, I am not the Atma. Right? The body is not the Atma. Now, these 3 reasons have to be extended further also to the Jnanendriyas and the Karmendriyas. So, just the body is not the Atma is not sufficient. You have to apply those 3 reasons to the Indriyas also. Right? So, let us look at the conditions of my eyes. They are only known to me. How, whether I can see properly or not, is only known to me. What is the proof?
What I can see, only I know. The other,
Yeah. So when you go to the ophthalmologist,
they will ask his
he
read it.
doesn't know, right? So he puts the alphabets and says, which line can you see clearly, right? And therefore, evam, because of these 3 reasons, what 3 reasons? Same reason, sangnatvam, bhautikatvam, drishyatvam. Because of these 3 reasons, evam, naham indriyani iti nischano. It is certain that I am not the sense organs. What is the reason? Shankara says, Indriya Dring, so Drik, Indriya Drik, Ahamasmi. I am the Drik, experiencer of the Indriyas. And you have to also add the other 2 reasons, because Indriya Saguna and Indriyas are made from Panchamahabhuta. Right? Nishchino, may you assimilate this completely. So not only Shravanam has to Mananam, and then Nididhasanam has to be there to assimilate that, to drive that idea into your subconscious mind. Right? So that the day that I don't see very clearly, you will use the words, my eyes are not seeing clearly. You won't say that I am not seeing. Right? And therefore, manaha, I am the drik of the mind. I am the experience of the mind. I am the sakshi. I am not the mind. And buddhihi tatha buddhihi, I am also the experiencer of the buddhi. And pranaha, the five pranas also I am. So the three reasons, sagunatvam, bhautikatvam, drishyatvam. Sagunatvam means having gunas. Bhautikatvam means being composed, being born out of the Panchamahabhuta. Drishyatvam means because of being perceivable. And therefore, na aham iti avadharaya. I am not any of these. I should understand this. I should assimilate this. I should internalize this fact. Which means I should do nididhyasanam on these facts regularly. Only if these facts are assimilated, that you are not the body, that you are not the mind, that you are not the indriyas, once this is completely internalized, then you will find that your mind will remain undisturbed as aging, weakens you, as aging takes away sharpness of the brain, sharpness of the eyes, sharpness of the ears. When the body begins to creak when you get up, when you can no longer do 10 Surya Namaskaras, when all this is happening, and even when you are on your deathbed, when the body is dying, you will still know that it is the body which is dying. Nothing can happen to me. Very, very important verses for Nididhyasanam. This is what is the crux. If you assimilate this, then only Vedanta has worked. Otherwise, you are just informed about Vedanta. It has not brought any transformation in you. So now we look at verse number 17. We'll chant. Sanghatopi tatanaham
Sanghatopi tatha naham
iti drishya vilakshanam
इति द्रक्ष्य विलक्षणम्
drishtaram anumanena
द्रष्टारम्
Drishtaram
अनुमानेन
anumanena
nipunam sampradharaya.
निपुणम् सम्प्रदाय
So he said that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the indriyas. Right? Now here he says, it is not that you are the body or the mind or the indriyas. Like, you are not the assembly also. Sanghataha. You are not the combination of all these also. Why is it necessary to give this clarification? You take any other anatma. You take, for example, a car. You cannot say that the wheels of the car. You cannot say the engine is the car. You cannot say the seat is the car. You cannot say the driving wheel is the car. But put all together, the whole assembly is the car. And Shankara now wants to tell us that this kind of thing is not possible. That even though you are not the mind or the indriya or the body, don't think that put together it is you. The assembly is not you. And therefore he says tatha. Because of the same three reasons, the sanghataha cannot be called Atma. Because of the same reason, the assembly, the sanghataha, cannot be called Atma. Because if any part is not there, then you have to say this is not the Atma. Right? There is a problem. If you say some assembly is Atma, is me, then you cannot say that if a part is missing, it is not me. For example, if you say that this whole body plus mind plus hands plus legs plus eyes plus ears plus everything is me, what happens if you lose a hand? You are not the assembly anymore. If you cannot say that, I am not the Atma simply because one hand is missing. So he says, Na aham sanghatah api. I am not the assembly to iti. This must be assimilated clearly, right? So, anatma is not atma. This idea was from the standpoint of the anatma, anatma centered idea. Anatma can never be atma. So, this is one method of nididhyasanam. You take all the anatma parts and you say, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not the hand, I am not the legs. All that you do in nididhyasanam. And then you group it. And then you say, not only I am not the individual body or the mind or the hands, I am not the whole body mind sense complex also. It is from the point of view of the anatma, the body mind sense complex. Then you can do reverse nididhyasana, atma centered nididhyasana, right? So he says drishtaram nipunam. So nipunam is skillfully, with a lot of focus. Skillfully focus on the drishtaram, on the observer, on the atma. And sampradayaya, understand that drishya vilakshanam, you are not anything that you see. So, two types. First is, you start with the anatma and you say, I am not the anatma. That is the viewpoint of the anatma. Then you go back, then reverse it. You go to your status as atma and then you say, whatever I see, that I am not. So practice this nididhyasanam, drishya vilakshanam. You are not anything that you perceive. So I am not the body and therefore the attributes of the body, the gunas of the body do not belong to me. Anumanena. This logic you should understand. So again logic is brought in. Whenever there is something which is a statement made, Shastra will never say accept blindly. He'll say, see the logic. So what is the anumanam here? I am different from the body. What is the logic? Because I am the observer of the body. I am Drik Chaitanyam. I am the consciousness observer, the conscious observer, the witness observer, and I am Nirgunam, without gunas. I am Nirvikaram, without any change. I am Nityam. I am eternal. Right? So whatever I see, I am not. And SPG puts it very nicely. He says, if you have any doubts, you go outside your house and look at a donkey and ask yourself, am I the donkey or am I not the donkey? The donkey is the object of perception. It's very clear that you are not the donkey. If that is clear to you, why is it not clear to you that you are not the body? It's a matter of great surprise. Okay. Any questions so far? Fine. So let us go on to verse number 18. 1-8. Dehendriyadayo bhava
देहेन्द्रियादयो भावा
anadivyapratikshamah
अनादिव्या प्रतिक्षमः
yasya sannidhimatrena
यस्य सन्निधिमात्रेण
सोहम ityavadharaya.
सोऽहमित्यवधारय।
Okay, so this is response to a question from a student. You have to imagine the question. A piece of stone is inert, jada. It is matter. And you, O Guruji, are saying that the body is also matter. Now, going by that experience, the piece of stone is jada. It doesn't scream when I beat it. If the body is also matter, then it should be as inert as a piece of stone. But then if I poke my hand, I feel pain. When the stone breaks, nothing happens. But I can't say the same when my hand breaks. So how is that statement correct? This is a question from the student. You have to imagine the question. Okay, in the part of Shastram, that some verses, some statements are replies to questions which are already spoken but not reflected in the text. So that is the skill of the student. Now, Shankara says both are matter, body and stone are matter. That is true. But difference is that the body can reflect consciousness. The stone is not able to reflect. It is not that body has consciousness and stone has no consciousness. Very important statement. It is not that consciousness pervades only the body and consciousness does not pervade the stone. How do you say consciousness pervades a stone?
Consciousness is all pervading. It is only that the stone cannot reflect the consciousness because of the lack of the.
Yes. So since Anatma is not different from Atma, it only belongs to a different level of reality. Remember that the stone also has Sat Chitanananda. The difference is stone doesn't have a subtle body. The subtle body is required to reflect Chit and Ananda. The physical body can reflect Sat. Therefore, the physical body, your physical body, has Sukshma Shariram, subtle body, so it can reflect Atma Chaitanyam also, Ananda also. Stone has both, all three, but stone reflects only Sat. Only the existence is reflected. Similar to the mirror reflecting light, but the stone cannot reflect light, even though both are matter. Both mirror and stone are matter, but the construction is different. So even though both are matter, the body reflects matter because of reflects consciousness because of Sukha Shariram. And therefore the body appears sentient. So yasya sannidhi matrena, because of the presence of the Atma, that is I, dehindriyadayo bhavaha, the inert objects. So bhava here means those inert objects, jada bhavatika padartha, those inert objects born from the Panchamahabhutas, like Deha, Indriya, etc. Dehe, Indriya, Bhavaha. So the word Bhavaha here has to be taken as inert objects. So inert objects like Deha and Indriyas, Anadi, Vyaprati, Kshamaha. They become capable, Kshamaha, capable of Hana Adi. So Hana Adi has to be understood very carefully. In Shastra, there are two things, Anam and Upadanam. All transactions in Shastra are divided into two categories, Anam and Upadanam. Anam means rejecting, Upadanam means taking. So Hanadi means taking and rejecting. Therefore, Hanadi is all transactions. And Vyaprati is transactions. Okay, so Hanadi Vyapratihi, all transactions of giving and taking, Kshamaha, capable of. Right? Note that Kshamaha has the another meaning. What is that? Here we are taking the meaning of becomes capable of. Shamta hai.
Forgiveness.
Toleration, endurance is also there. Okay, which is sometimes translated as forgiving. But Kshamaha is also in the meaning of, like in Hindi use, karne ka shamta hai. He has a capacity, capability, right? So Kshamaha is also in the meaning of capable of. And that is how it is used here. Hanadi vyaprati Kshamaha. They become capable of handling transactions like accepting and rejecting. Right? What is the idea? Atma is one, but the different organs are able to function because of the presence of the Atma. And again, whenever I do my Nididhyasanam, this is the basic. You don't have to go and talk about it to your relatives, okay? You don't have to say that my legs walk, my hands hold, my eyes see. You don't say all those things. But in your Nididhyasanam, you have to say, I do not hear, I do not see, I do not walk. But in my presence, Sannidhi Matrena, what happens? The eyes see, the ears hear, the hands hold, the legs walk. And what am I? Soham iti avadharaya. Assimilate the fact, avadharaya, saha aham iti. I am that consciousness principle alone. This is the Nididhyasanam which I should do. Okay. See, very nice verses for Nididhyasanam. Then look at the next verse, 19.
Just before we proceed further,
Yeah.
this first word of this verse 18, Dehendriyadayo.
Yeah.
So it is Deha Indriyat Ayo.
No.
Aya.
Indriya Adi.
Indriyadi.
Yeah. So that
Then
yo
yo.
is putting it into the form when the visarga is taken away.
So yaha.
See, it's a
Am I right?
dual case. No, Deha Indriya.
Deha Indriya.
Dadau. So it's
Asha,
dual
okay.
case that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we go to verse number 19. We will chant. Annapanna vikaraha. Sorry.
Annapanna vikaraha.
No. Annapanna vikarasan.
Annapanna vikarasan.
Asya kantavadevayah.
Asya kantavadevayah.
The meter is broken. That's why. Annapanna vikarasan.
Annapanna vikarasan.
Asya kantavadevayah.
Asya kantavadevayah.
Buddhyadhimshchalayet pratyak. Ityavadharaya.
Soham ityavadharaya.
So we have meditated upon the fact that I am the observer and that I am the one who, because of whom the body, mind, sense organs become sentient. And therefore, without my blessing, the body is just a corpse. It belongs to the funeral pyre if I am not there. That's all we have said. So there's a question here. You are saying that without you, the body doesn't become sentient. Are you therefore not a karta? It's a valid question. Student is asking, Guruji, you are saying that without the Atma, without you or without I, the body is only decaying matter. I am the one who gives sentiency to the body, mind, sense, organs, etc. But if I am giving, does it not make me a karta? And if I am a karta, then obviously I will have karma phalam, punyam, papam. I will also become a bhokta. So please let me know how this is not a possible interpretation. So Shankara says that giving sentiency is not a willful, deliberate action of the Atma. Right? It is the borrowing of sentiency is not by the giving of sentiency, but in the presence of the Atma, the body becomes sentient. Right? It is like saying that when I stand in front of the mirror, my face is reflected. When I say that the face is reflected in the mirror, I have not done anything. Purely because my face comes in front of the mirror, because of its construction, because of its nature, it forms the reflection. Therefore, you cannot say that I am responsible for the reflection being formed. Of course, you can say I went in front of the mirror. But that particular argument doesn't hold good for the Atma. Why?
It's everywhere.
Is
There is
everywhere.
not limited.
It is good. It is everywhere. So that argument is okay for me, but it is not good for the Atma. Right? So therefore, I am not a Karta. So in Sanskrit, it's called the Nirvikaraka Prerakaha, a changeless activator. Prerakaha is the one who inspires or inspires change or inspires something to happen. So Nirvikarakaha, changeless, Prerakaha, the inspirer or the enlivener or the activator, whatever you call it. And he gives an example, like a magnet. The iron particles move towards the magnet not by any action of the magnet. The magnet only needs to be present. Sannidhi matrena. We say the magnet pulls the iron filings, but really speaking, that pulling is not a verb. There is no pulling by the magnet. That's what he says here. Annapana vikara san. Annapana means na apannaha, not afflicted. So without any change, vikara na apannaha, without being affected by any change, ayaskantavat. Ayaskanta is a Sanskrit name for a magnet. Ayaskantavat, like a magnet. The suffix vat is like, as if. So ayaskantavat, like a magnet. Pratyak, the inner self, the Atma, buddhi adina chalayet, enlivens the buddhi, adi, etc. Right? So Atma only makes the buddhi sentient, makes the Vijnanamaya kosha sentient. The other koshas borrow the sentiency from the Vijnanamaya kosha. Where did we have this discussion?
Taittiriya. I'm recalling 18th chapter of Gita. We just finished with this.
No,
Similar.
this is all Tattva Bodha. Buddhi is the primary, or when you say Buddhi, you mean Vijnanamaya kosha.
Oh, I was thinking about the iron magnet example.
That's okay. That we saw earlier also. So
Yeah.
Atma lends sentiency, lends in the sense Buddhi or the Vijnanamaya kosha becomes sentient in the presence of the Atma. And the Vijnanamaya kosha, because of its sentiency, the other koshas borrow. But remember, the Atma's activity is not there. Only the Vijnanamaya kosha borrows. Therefore, you can say that because of the Atma, the body becomes sentient, but the Atma does not decide what the body should do, what the mind should do. The body does not decide. Right? I mean, the Atma doesn't decide. It's like the petrol that you require for the car. Without the petrol, the car won't move. But the petrol will not decide the direction in which the car moves. That is for you, the driver, to say. But the capacity to move is given by the petrol. Similarly, the capacity to be sentient is given by Atma, but it is the Ahankara which decides what should be done. And this we saw. Nadate kasyachit papam na chaiva sakrutam vibhuhu ajnane navritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Ajnani says, I have punya karma, I have papa karma. Why? Muhyanti jantavaha. All because of delusion. And Krishna said elsewhere, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam he Arjuna. Because of my presence alone, this whole universe revolves. And why does it seem to take place? Why does action seem to take place? Again, we have seen guna guneshu vartante, indriyani indriyatheshu vartante. Right? So you must not be like Abhimanyu. So you can compare the Anatma to the Chakravyuh of Abhimanyu, Mahabharata. Right? What was the problem? Abhimanyu learned to enter the Chakravyuh. That formation he learned to enter. but he didn't. He had not yet learned to come out of it safely. And that was the cause of his death. So don't be like Abhimanyu. Learn to use anatma, but learn to drop it also. Learn to come out of it also. Remain in the body, but don't be affected when the prarabdha hits the body. When your hair turns grey, when your eyebrows turn grey, when your back starts to creak, when getting up is difficult, when you can't sit on Padmasana anymore, especially for people like us, yogis who have done lots of, Padmasana and Surya Namaskara and all that. The day you realize that, I cannot do my 108 Surya Namaskaras. In fact, forget 108. I can't do 5 of them, if you say. That mind becomes very disturbed. But you know that it is the body's prarabdha. Body will have dukkham sukham, but it doesn't belong to me. It all belongs to the body only. And therefore, remember that Navadware pure dehi naiva kurvanna karyan. I am sitting in the body as Sakshi, but I am not the doer, nor do I cause things to be done. Soham iti avadharaya. Remember that this Atma, this Sakshi you are. This is the assimilation required at the very subconscious level. Once assimilation has taken place, the world becomes a Leela. All very, very beautiful verses for assimilation. Okay. So we will go on to the next verse number 20. Ajadat Ajadatmavada bhanti Ajadatmavada bhanti
Ajaratmavada
Ajadatmavada
bhanti
bhanti
Nidhyat jada api.
yat sannidhya
yatra
jada api
jada api dehendriya
dehi
manas
nindriyam
prana
prana
Soham ityavadharaya.
soham nityavadharaya.
So Shankara is drowning us in Nididhyasanam. So he says this entire inert body-mind complex is converted into a sentient body-mind complex only because of me. The entire Jada Prapancha, Jada body-mind complex is converted into a sentient body-mind complex only because of me, the Atma, like the wind, because of which the dry leaves move. That's what he says. So, Dehendriya Mana Pranaha. The body, Indriyas, mind and Pranaha. If you look at the first word, Ajadatma Vada Bhanti Yasya Sanidhya Jada Apihi. Dehendriya Mana Pranaha Jada Api. Even though they are inert by themselves, Ajadat, Ajada Atmavat Bhavanti. Ajada Atmavat Abhanti. Ajada means not inert, sentient. Abhanti means looks like. So, Ajada Atmavat, as though not inert, which means sentient. Abhanti, it appears as though sentient. So, this body, mind, prana, indra, etc., even though they are inert by themselves, they appear as though sentient, as the sentient jiva. Why? Because of me alone. The inert body, Shavaha, because of me, it turns into Shivaha. Shavaha into Shivaha. That is the magic which I do. What is Shivaha? It is Mangalam, the sentient body. And how does it turn? Yat Sanidhyat eva. By my mere presence alone. No effort is required, no will is required, no action is required. And therefore, in Nididhyasanam, whenever I say aham, I should train my mind to assimilate. It refers to Chaitanyam only. That consciousness principle which lends sentience to the inert body. Until this happens, until this training happens, what training? that whenever I say aham, I am referring to consciousness. Until that becomes a fact for you, I is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi cannot be a fact for you. It will only be information. The greatest obstacle to assimilation of Atmagyanam is the fact that the correct meaning of I, aham, is not remembered by me at the time of my transaction. You will say, I am Brahman. I am always free. And you will add, but my husband is a very irritating person. Right? So there's a contradiction, right? So you have to assimilate that ahankara is never free. He is always in bondage. So except as ahankara, you are never free. As sakshi, I am ever free. So whether I am subject to samsara is dependent on what meaning I give to the word aham. When you say aham samsari, you are taking aham as ahankara. When you say aham sakshi, you are taking aham as consciousness principle. Remember that ahankara problems can never get solved. They can only be made insignificant. Like you can no longer see the stars in the daytime, not because they are not there, but because the sun is shining. The light of the sun makes the light of the stars almost invisible. And the light of consciousness should make the troubles of ahankara almost invisible. And soham iti avadharaya. May you meditate on this fact. May you assimilate it. But remember, in worldly transactions, you have to use the gauna pratyaya. We talked about gauna pratyaya in Bhagavad Gita, right? Figurative usage. When you go to apply for Aadhaar card, you should write the figurative usage of the word I. In the date of birth column, don't say Ajo Nitya Shashvata Pranaha. You won't get your Aadhaar card. Okay. No, I think we'll stop with this because we don't have sufficient time for the next verse. Any questions?
Yeah, one. I would not say it's a question, but just to clear my understanding, that what is the definition of death then? Is it dropping off of the body, or is it leaving of the atma from the body? Because if we interpret death as a leaving of atma from the body, then atma understanding is that it is a karta. It leaves the body.
Atma doesn't leave the body.
Atma cannot leave the body because Atma is everywhere. Okay, so what you have to understand, death of the physical body is the leaving of the Sukshma Shariram from the body. When the subtle body leaves the physical body, what happens? The capacity to reflect the Atma is not there. It is not that Atma is...
Just as we discussed about the stone and the body, just a few verses back. Yeah, okay.
Subtle body reflects the consciousness principle.
Right. Okay,
so
thank you.
reflecting medium goes on.
Reflecting medium.
Yeah, reflecting medium goes. Yeah, thank you.
That is death. Death of the physical body. Okay.
Thank
you. उच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय
पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
ओम शांति शांति शांति
तत्सत ओम नमः शिवाय
Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you, Acharya ji.